let's have a look at one of those important things here as well, and that's the choice between a car chair and a capsule. So what is a capsule versus a car chair? Well, a capsule is the smaller car chair that you're going to be able to lift out that sits on a base in the car itself, whereas a car chair is a permanent chair that stays in the car. And both have pros and cons. And so what's going to happen is you need to look at your lifestyle and what's important for you. And I'm going to go through some of those pros and cons now. When we're looking at the capsule, the pros of a capsule would be that we can lift this capsule out and the baby can remain sleeping inside of it. This can be easily carried around and then can fit into the pram so you can push the baby into the shops or wherever you're going. This means that also you can have a couple of bases. In other words, you just buy extra bases and the capsule can be moved from car to car because the base is there. So make sure that when you're looking at this particular option, you look into the opportunity to be able to have some extra bases. Now, my personal opinion is that having a capsule for a young baby is actually really vital because you have that situation where the baby will fall asleep in the car and you can lift them out of the capsule and then be able to take them wherever you're going with your baby. The pros of a car seat is the fact that it will last from birth till around about 5, sometimes even 8 years of age, depending on the car chair. So that means that you don't have to buy another item. This can last the baby from birth all the way up until that certain age. They can be rear facing and front facing. We know that babies need to be rear facing till at least the age of a year. And so therefore we can have this baby turning around and facing forward, which means that they are versatile. So therefore, what are the cons of having a capsule? Well, the fact that it's only going to last till around about 6 months of age. And you might not think that that's worth it. But honestly, the amount of times that you're going to have something that you can pick up and carry with you is going to be really make up for that extra cost that you're going to have. Remember, when you're looking at prams, you might just have this coming together with a pram set, and therefore it means that there's less cost involved in the long run. We also know, therefore, that you're going to have to buy a new chair anyway when the baby outgrows its capsule. And capsules are usually up until a certain weight, not necessarily an age. And I think it's around about 18 kilos. But have a look and see what the particular weight is for the capsule that you purchase. And make sure once your baby reaches that weight, the baby has to go into a car chair. So therefore, the baby won't be a year old yet. And you know then you're going to have a rear-facing car chair that can swing around and be a front-facing one as well. Now, the cons of having a car seat is the fact that when the baby wakes up, you're going to have to pick the baby up, and then the baby's awake when you put them down into a pram or whenever you're going to go into the shops. Now, one of the ways around this is to have a carrier, and if your baby's settled enough in that, you can pick the baby up if it wakes and put it into the carrier, and usually they might go back to sleep again, but sometimes they may not. And therefore, disturbing a baby that's fallen asleep in the car is the drawback of having a car seat. We know that it's not going to fit on the pram and it only can stay in one car because that's where it's been put into. So you do need to buy then 2 car seats if you've got 2 different cars and people are carting the child around in different cars. So really think along these pros and cons and think about your lifestyle, what's important for you as well. Now, obviously, safety is of paramount importance. So therefore, please make sure that you get your car seat or the capsule base and the capsule professionally fitted so that we make sure that it is put in correctly. I watched a program a couple of years ago where NRMA just went into a parking lot and just approached some people with children and said, can we check your car restraint? We're just checking a couple of safety issues. It was surprising how many people had taken their children out of cars where the car seat was actually wobbling around on the back seat and wasn't fitting properly. So if you notice after a couple of months or years of use that things have stretched a little bit, please go back and have them refitted again so that you make sure that it's constantly safe for your baby to be in that particular restraint that they have. And once you've got your capsule or your car seat, please make sure that you practice. In the maternity car park, I can't tell you how many times I've walked past and seen a dad struggling to try and get the capsule out because he doesn't know how it works. And he's come to fetch his wife and his baby, and he doesn't know how to get the thing in or out. And so therefore, make sure you practice a few times so that you've got that down pat before you go and fetch your baby, or mums, so that you make sure before you go out on your first shopping outing that you can actually get this thing in and out of the car. You don't want to be caught in the middle of a storm and you can't get your baby in and out of the car. So please make sure that you've practiced this many times with the empty capsule when your baby comes along. There's a few other things that you need to practice as well, as how do you lengthen the straps? How do you get your baby out? How do you buckle everything up? And so I'm going to show you a brief video that I'm hoping is going to help you with this. Now, of course, this video wasn't done by myself. I'm using this compliments of another company, and I will give them recognition. So please make sure that you know how to work each of these things that he's going to show you so that you can get your baby safely in and comfortably out of the capsule or the car chair that you are using. So I thought it was really important to leave the information up here so that I'm making sure that I'm acknowledging them, because this is their work that they have done. And please, if you have any difficulties, you can contact them as far as baby car seat installations are concerned.
Hi, I'm Mohammed from Baby Car Seat Installers, and in this video I'm going to show you how to properly place a child into the Maxi Cozy Miko infant car seat. Step 1. Loosen the harness strap.
Now this is an important point. Make sure that you know exactly how to loosen those harness straps. Can you see that he's pushing a button down over here? And most capsules will work like that you push a button down and that releases the tension in the straps, and then you can pull them to comfortably get your baby out of there. You don't want to take the straps off and have to really edge your baby's arms out, because they don't like coming in and out of car chairs anyway. So make it most comfortable for your baby to do this.
Unbuckle the chest with the crotch buckle.
Now, of course, the buckle system that sits on your particular car chair is what you're going to need to learn how to do. Some of them you can only put one in and then you have to put the other in before they clips. Sometimes they have to be connected into each other. So you must make sure that you know how to get the clips apart so that you can do this as quickly as possible.
Place the harness strap to the side.
Now have a look at your particular car chair, because I know that there are a couple of them where the harnesses that come on the side here might have a little elastic that you can slide the harness clip into, or even sometimes a little thing that you can push them into so that you can get them out the way fully while you're getting your baby in and out of the car chair. So again, go through that manual. And if you haven't bought your car chair yet, and if you haven't bought your capsule yet, that's another thing to look for. Is there a way of keeping the harness straps out the way while you get your baby in and out of it?
Step 2. Place the child into the seat with their bum all the way into the back.
Now, this is a really important point. Make sure that the baby's bottom is placed exactly where it should be. In other words, if there is a place where the baby's bottom will go right to the back, that's where the baby needs to be seated. You don't want your baby slumped and slouched into the car chair when it's not going to be comfortable for the baby and also not safe as well. Now, the next important point to look for is the fact that you make sure that you're going to get the head restraint correctly around the baby, making sure that there's enough support around the baby so that their head stays neutral and doesn't flop over like this, because that's extremely unsafe for a baby in a car chair. So look at that. You can get better surrounds if you need to look at baby bunting or those places. And therefore, the support straps that come over the shoulders can also be part of that, keeping the baby's head in the straight position.
Step 2. Buckle the crotch buckle.
This particular model has a chest restraint as well as a buckle at the bottom here. Most of them are 5-point harnesses. In other words, there's a point between the legs, there's a point on the top of each shoulder, and there's another point around the baby's hips. So therefore, with these 5-point harnesses, the baby is well kept securely inside there. So make sure that you know what straps you have and what buckles you have on your particular model.
the harness straps up to get rid of any slack around the child's hip.
Now that's another important point, is make sure that you pull the harness straps so that there's no slack coming around the baby's hips. This baby must be well securely kept inside that capsule or car seat, so making sure that your baby is safe.
Then buckle the chest clip and slide it down.
So if your particular model doesn't have a chest clip, then that's obviously a step that you wouldn't do. But it is better to have a capsule or car seat that has a chest clip so that it's keeping the baby nicely securely inside that particular restraint.
Step 5. Pull on the harness adjuster strap to tighten the straps around the child's shoulder.
Now this again is another point that's important. Before you even get your baby into it, have you put the restraints at the correct height for your baby? There's usually 3 heights that you can put in as the baby gets older. So make sure that they're in the lowest point when the baby is a newborn. And if they're getting to the point where they're going around the baby's shoulders and further down, they need to be moved up again. And when you pull on that strap, making sure that as you pull on the strap, that's going to tighten up against the baby. So even the pre-assembly is what's important, and that's part of what will happen when a car chair or a capsule gets installed by a professional. They will show you through these steps as well.
You may need to remove the shoulder comfort pads if they are preventing the straps from tightening properly.
So another important point is if these pads around the shoulders don't allow the straps to be tightened fully because the baby is so small, those might need to be removed.
Step 6. Position the chest clip at the child's armpit. Put your finger into the child's armpit and line the chest clip with your finger. This is known as the tickle test.
So the chest clip must be placed at the baby's armpit. It's not too far down.
Pinch the straps around the child's shoulder. You shouldn't be able to pinch any slack.
So the pinch test just means that you actually can't pick up any of the slack. If there's too much slack here, you need to tighten it a little tighter so your baby's a little bit more firm into the actual capsule or car chair.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in contact with us. If you like our videos, please like them and subscribe to our channel.
So as this notice says, this does not replace you looking at your own instruction manual from the car seat or the capsule that you have purchased. This is your baby's safety that is absolutely important. So make sure that you have read through this very carefully before you use this and before you put your baby into it. Now, some of the situations that I do find as well is babies are usually screaming by the time you get them into the car seat or the particular restraint that you're using, and therefore having a dummy handy can help. And also then popping the dummy in, picking up the capsule, and then literally swaying the baby front and back like this can often help that baby to settle down. But usually once your car gets going, the baby will also stop crying. So I hope that this has helped you with a bit of a pros and cons around capsules versus car seats. You do your homework, see what you can find, and see what you think is going to work the best for you. Remember that there's always the option of borrowing from somebody else just for those first couple of months, or hiring something that at least you can get to the point where you can have the use of a capsule but not necessarily have to purchase one. So I hope that this has been useful for you in thinking around, do you purchase a capsule or a car seat, and how to use it safely.